Hey there, so this is take two. So that's why you don't see my face on camera, because I was having such technical difficulties. That's why I was late coming on in general, and then it just froze. And so then it won't want me to start again. So hopefully take two goes flawlessly. So I'm just going to kind of jump right in. I don't think you missed too much. Well, I did show my inspiration for my card a little bit today. Like it has coconuts here, and there's my coconuts on my shaving cream. And I was also showing the nice blending brush. There's Pam again. I know you guys were on, and you're probably like, where'd she go? All of a sudden, everything just froze on my end. And like I said, I had trouble connecting to even start. So here's that nice new blending brush stand. And like I said, you just have to make sure that this kind of finds that base on the inside or on the bottom piece there, and once you get it stuck in there, then it's really sturdy, and it is kind of flexible, bendable, kind of that same material that our Stampin' Blends are stored in. Hi Donna, glad to see you back on here. Barb, I was having such technical difficulties, I ended up just starting over because I was frozen for so long and I didn't want to waste your time, and I'm glad Lisa's back too. So here we have it. And for those of you watching replay, kind of do want to start over a little bit just to capture where things are from. So the mini catalog page 49 has this great sweet citrus bundle. I saw it at Onstage Stampin' Up's event, and I thought, oh, this is so wonderful that I want to show you guys my version of it. And so when you first see it, you kind of think, okay, that's great for oranges, lemons, things like that. But my friend and I were having a great time with the like the idea of the coconut and things like that. So I kind of wanted to show you that, as well as how to kind of make this card fantastic with all the dies. So there is a little bit of die cutting today, but kind of just fun. And don't we all need something like a little bit bright on these winter days? So what I'm going to show you here is it's a hybrid embossing folder. So I want to show you that. So we've got this embossing folder, which can be its own embossing folder 3D. We can put this in here and have it die cut. Now it's saying trying to reconnect. So hopefully it doesn't freeze up too much for you guys. I think I'm just going to keep going. So so that's one way to use it, but not the way that I'm using it today. So what I'm using is some bright cardstock. The newer in color Tahitian Tide is going to be the card base here. So that kind of gives us a fresh, fun, bright look. And then I'm just taking a 4 by 5 1/4 piece of basic white, and that's what I'm going to put into this 3D embossing folder here to kind of build up the base of the card. So I've got my my big chunky plate number 1, and then my specialty plate number 4. And this is so fun to pull out and see those deep grooves on here. How fun is that? Hi, Carla. So it's going to pick up a lot of ink when I use my blending brushes. So I'm going to do that next. I'm going to get some scratch paper here, and then I'm going to pull out my Parakeet Party ink pad because that's the lighter of my two that I'm going to use. So I'm just going to take my blending brush here and just go over that and pick up the ink. So I'm going to push kind of hard so it gets in the grooves of that which I've embossed, but then also kind of just to give a little color on that background too. So that's kind of fun, just like that. Hey there, Dawn, good to have you on here. And then I'm going to switch colors and go to Tahitian Tide, which matches the cardstock base, and kind of that lighter, brighter tropical blue. I'm going to take my blending brush, swirl that around in there, and then do that same thing and just half of the card, kind of pressing heavily to get into those grooves of all the fun citrus, and then to color the white base of it too. So we've got that going there. How fun is that? Just to add some color. And there's Carol joining in too. So glad to have you guys on here. And now this is ready to go on my card base. So I'm going to, because this is a 3D folder, I'm going to make sure that my tape gets to all 4 corners it's frozen. Okay, I'm back. I didn't do anything. So when it freezes up, I've just kind of been sitting here waiting because I feel like that's going to be the game today. Next, I'm going to take and change my plates a little bit because I'm going from embossing now to die cutting. And I'm done with this scratch piece of paper. So there's going to be several like layers of die cutting or whatever, but that's what adds to the fun of today. So I'm just going to take some basic white here and kind of one of the medium deckled dies. I'll place that on here and scoot that through and swirl that around. Okay, yep, Carla, so sorry. Yep, I see it's freezing for you too, because I always kind of wonder when it's frozen for me, does it freeze for you? I assume it does. So I would just kind of freeze what I'm doing until I see the screen come back. So what I'm doing is just taking my blending brush and going around the edges and catching the edges of the deckled. So it goes from kind of a white background. Now it's kind of warmed that up and coordinated. I didn't want to put it too dark because I want it just to kind of add a little bit of color there. And now that's ready to go. Difficulties I could hardly get on. It kept saying kept trying to reconnect, and I'm not even using internet, so that's kind of what's strange too. It's just my Verizon, so I don't know if it's a Verizon issue here or what. So we've got this going, and then next I'm going to take kind of the citrus outline, and yes, this is how I have it on my stamp. I only need these two pieces, so I thought I don't know if anybody's quirky like me. I don't want to accidentally like ink up these, or I don't need them, so they're just going to go right off my. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. So I literally just paused so you didn't miss anything. Now I'm going to ink up the two pieces here for the coconut, and that I'm going to put on a little strip here of basic white and press down. And then that's going to be ready to cut out for my two coconuts on my card. And then this gets put aside. And then I'm just going to go ahead and make some leaves right away. So that way when I do the rest of my die cutting, it'll all be set to go. So my leaves, I want to build up a couple different colors here. I think that adds to the depth of it. So I want to start with that, the parakeet party, yep, and just kind of put that on here, and then I can just kind of stamp off because I'm going to a darker green, and then just put that on here too. So we've got that. So then I should be ready to kind of do the rest of the die cutting all in one shot here for you. So let me keep rolling before I freeze up again and eliminate frustration for you guys. All right, so then, like I said, we've got these dies from the Sweet Citrus bundle. So I just have to go, here we go, like so, line that up. And there's kind of a, to me, a wider outline of the white part of it. And then these are the Sweet Citrus dies. So that's where the big one comes from. And then they gave us 2 leaves right away, which is great because I'm going to end up putting 4 leaves on here. To save you guys time, I actually cut 2 and set them aside. So the 2 I'm cutting out has a twin pair off to the side. So that's all done already. And now I can cut this out. Hi there. Thanks for joining in. And we've got that and that, which doesn't look too fancy now. And then we've got these 2 fun little leaves in the 2 different shades there. And so I'm gonna kind of make some magic happen after I finish die cutting here. Now I wanted some of these tropical flowers to look a little bit like splattered or have a little bit of texture to them. So remember yesterday when I was showing you that Playing in the Rain paper and it had all those rain dots and splashes, and on the back side of that is this fun like pink paper, perfect color that I wanted. And so I thought, let's use that. And once again, Stampin' Up! Scored big with me because we have a triple die, which means it cuts out all 3 of these flowers at once. And yet they separate when I run it through, but 2 sets of those, and I wanted 6 flowers, so it's like, this is perfect, like the best card supplies today. So I've got 1 big one, 2 small ones, and then there we go, 1 big one and 2 small ones. So I've got that set aside for building up. And then the last thing that I'm pulling in kind of for die cutting, I wanted something that was like fronds of something. So I'm pulling out the Forever Flourishing dies, which is still very popular. I just delivered a set of this with the flourishing fern, or Forever Fern, excuse me, to somebody, just because she's like, how have I never seen this before? So it was popular when it came out, and it still is. So this is Forever Flourishing dies, and I'm only going to need kind of like this much of it. So that's what I'm going to put on my cardstock, just because I feel like if I die cut it all, this is going to hang out underneath my coconut, and I don't want that to happen accidentally. So that's sometimes why I do that. All right, so I've got this, and then that I'm just going to pull out, like I said, just for a little bit of greenery to add to our scenery. Okay, so now we can kind of start building. But as you see, I saw like this gal's sample, and she demoed it for some other samples, but I'm like, my coconuts look really bland. I want it to look kind of natural there. So this is where I take my early espresso ink pad, and whoops, I want my well to be open, and just so easy to add a little bit of color onto the coconut. So I'm just going to kind of just do a little scribble there with my refill, which this thing's about empty, and I then say to myself, it's celebration time to add that to my order to get something for free. And then with my paintbrush here, my water brush, I'm just going to pick that up and just kind of swirl that around the inside. This one got kind of dark. That's why I started with this one, because I wasn't sure how dark it would be. And most of this gets colored up. And then I'm just going to squeeze a little bit more water to water that down. And then this one's going to be much lighter. Actually, I need to pick up a little bit more color. But I actually want it to be just really faint. Like, I want this one more than I do this one. But like I said, this one's going to get covered up, so it's going to be okay. So actually, I'm just going to kind of go along the edges and kind of spread out that color a little bit more too. So we've got that going. Okay, so we've got that. And now I can layer my card together. Oops. I'm going to just set that ink pad aside, and now I hope I can just keep going without any connectivity issues. So for this, I could put glue dots or something, but sometimes I just kind of lightly swipe my seal adhesive across this, and it just kind of picks up here and there some of those leaves, and that's good enough for me. And then I just kind of stick this up in the corner like so, and just brush off that extra adhesive. And now for my coconuts, I want to pop those up, those 2 pieces. So I'm going to put like 3 of these little dimensionals there. And then this is going to go on top. So I'm just going to kind of place that here for now. And I just want to put dimensionals on this side and adhesive here, because it's going to kind of stick over the ledge here. So I want that popped up and on there as well. So we've got that going for my coconuts. And I think that extra watercolor really adds dimension in a fun way. So now for my leaves, I'm going to build these leaves up. And so I'm going to flip over the dark one and put some adhesive on it so that I can stick that, whoops, on top of my light one to kind of make it look a lot fuller. And having the 2 different colors, I think, really makes it look fuller as well. So with that, I'm just going to add a couple dimensionals to the back side of that and just kind of tuck that right here like so. And actually, it's almost kind of barely touching, so I have room to add some flowers now. So, yes, hi, Dawn. So, yeah, I don't know if you want to watch this back from the start, because I really have been having technical difficulties today with that, so it might freeze up. Hopefully, the replay just goes smooth. So I'm taking 2 small flowers, 1 large flower from that die cut, and just gonna peel off this, and then I can build up that in the center, and then just kind of tuck these two small ones underneath here, like so. How fun is that? Like, this card looks not only like 3D, but it just kind of keeps popping. And then I'm going to alternate my light and dark here, and have my light on top of my dark for the other side. Stick that together. Couple more dimensionals. So yeah, if you aren't into Putsy, this isn't your card, but like I said, I had so much fun with it. It was like totally worth it. So I'm just going to kind of stick that there, and then take the second set that die cuts 3 at a time, of 2 smalls, and I'm putting mini dimensionals on there so you can kind of get a feel for how big these flowers are, and then 1 regular dimensional fits on the bigger flower. So I've got that, and then I'm going to do that same thing, pop that flower on here, and then just kind of tuck the 2 smaller ones underneath there, like so. So it's just really all of a sudden coming together to the point that now I can work on the sentiment. And so let me get back over my Stampin' Pierce mat and my Early Espresso ink pad. And for this, it says, enjoy the sweeter things in life. I'm making this into a birthday card today for my hostess, but I'm also thinking of making an extra one for my sister's anniversary that's coming up here in a couple days. So I love that font. It's just kind of that like easygoing cursive. And to kind of finish the edges off, I have my punch here, and I'm going to do like that Banners. It's Banners Pick-a-Punch, and just kind of give that a nice professional little zip. And then with my scissor, I'm just going to kind of give that an extra little piece there, so I can do that same thing and give it room to do that, because this is what's going to be your leftovers. So that's why you kind of always want to give enough room there, because it will cut it down a little bit. So now for this, I'm going to flip this over and put 3 dimensionals, 1 on each end, and then 1 in the middle. And I kind of want to give this a little bit of a wave look too. So to do that, how I set this down is I'll start with that first dimensional, and then kind of pop it up and squeeze it, and then press down on the second one, and then put my finger underneath there to pop it up, and then press down on that last one. So you can kind of see there's a little bit of a ripple, and I feel like it just adds like a fun look to that sentiment to have some kind of extra in there like that. And then I just want to embellish it a little bit. There's a lot going on, but I thought, oh, let's add a little something. So I have these rustic metallic adhesive back dots. Say that a few times. So I'm going to take and put the larger kind of here and tuck a smaller one right next to it, and then just add 1 smaller one kind of over here just to kind of tie that together. So on my original card, I kind of just put the greeting right up against my decal build up, and here I left just a little bit of a space. So it's kind of, you know, an optional how you want it to look and everything. And so it's otherwise it's the same. Some of you pay really close attention to that, and then you might even, if you're making this card again, have different outcomes depending on how dark your blending is with the Parakeet Party and Tahitian Tide and such too. And then for the inside, I'm just going to do that really simple, and pull out the one that says have a zesty birthday. So I'm just going to put that in Early Espresso, and then I'm going to take and just re-ink one of these leaves again in the Garden Green. So I can't remember if I told you that that was Garden Green. The lighter is the Parakeet Party, and then the darker is the Garden Green. And so I'll flip that over. So if it's like one of those things where it's like, yeah, that kind of looks putsy, but it's one of those things, once you have everything cut out, then you can easily just sit and assemble, which are the types of cards that I kind of like to work on too. So have a zesty birthday, and this just really pops in a fun way on the inside with that Tahitian Tide cardstock too. So I'm super excited about this new Sweet Citrus bundle, just because there's a lot of options. And on my first take that I had to cancel of this video because of connectivity issues. I was saying how they use some of these images to make pink grapefruit on some really like dark navy background papers and colors and different things, and that just looked so fun too. So keep in mind that that might be coming your way on a different video from me too. Hi there, Joy. Is kind of wrapping up today, and like it was a struggle. I don't know if it's a Facebook issue or Verizon issue, but I was really having trouble getting started, staying connected, and I know a lot of you just are going to watch the replay because you were tired of it freezing up on your end because it was freezing up on my end. So that wraps up Dawn Erlbeck's virtual party demos. She will be keeping her party open until the end of February, but as always, please try and get your orders in if you're ordering through her party before that, so she has time to plan what she can get for free for her rewards and such. But as a thank you, you'll get all 3 cards that I'm making for her party if you order a minimum of $25, and that will get sent out to me as a thank you from her and I. And otherwise, I'm going to take a week break from videos, and that's all I have for hostesses right now, but I will have time after a week to set up something if you want to do a virtual party. So that's an open idea for you guys, because I do have more ideas. It's still celebration. Tomorrow I'm headed to the Darfur Library, little tiny blip of a town, and I'm excited to do a free card class there. So I'm excited because the library takes those registrations, and they're capping that. So I'm not even sure if there's room or not, but I'll be seeing some of you hopefully there tomorrow afternoon in the big little town of Darfur at their library. So that's what I'm going to be working on tonight to get ready for that tomorrow. So hopefully you guys have a good night planned too. Take care. See you later. Bye-bye.